a campfire chat, and new desert dangers. Welcome back to Cosmic Respawn Gaming. Today we're playing Moonlighter Episode 8 and diving into the third dungeon for the first time. We're going to start with seeing what the town has to say. So you've managed to open 2 locks of the 5th door. I guess Crazy Pete was onto something then. I dug up another recipe using the desert dungeon resources. Now you defeated the Forest Guardian? You just keep surprising everyone. Not me though, I've always known. Leave me alone, you liar. It's impossible. You couldn't have defeated the Forest Guardian. Mommy couldn't do it, and she was a hero. So you must be lying. Remember when we used to play as small children, Will? I never imagined this little white-haired boy I played swords with would grow up to defeat the Guardians. Ah, the so-called hero merchant braces me with his presence. You've become quite popular lately. But will you be able to find the Desert Guardian? The Desert Dungeon harbors a lot of great artifacts for crafting. Desert Steel Ingot, Chilled Lava, and Fire Gem are useful for weapons. Magnetite and Insulating Dust will craft better armor than you currently have. Are you the merchant we keep hearing about? The one defeating the Guardians and reopening the dungeons? We came all the way to Ryanoke just to meet you. It's time to enter the Desert Dungeon for the first time. To start, enemies are a little weird in this dungeon. A lot have the ability to teleport, and the ones like this ball can cause a headache due to it constantly moving except when it hits the wall. We have the standard enemies mixed in, but there's more that are evasive in nature. Sweet, we get a sneak peek into the 4th dungeon. Looks electricity based, maybe even tech inspired. I skipped back to the start. I actually didn't realize this room had a secret room. We will have to see if I catch it later if I turn back to the start. These guys can be frustrating. Lore time. One thing is clear. These dungeons are arranged to assist in the ransacking of them. But there is a glitch in the system, an anomaly working against their design. The guards. They work autonomously without thought. Their only concern, the defense of the treasures in this dungeon. Which seems in direct conflict with the dungeon's sole purpose. I'd wager whatever places the guards here is separate from what forms the dungeons. That's an intriguing thought. I wonder what the Wanderer's connection is to it all then. I noticed the secret room on the way back to the start from the dead end. And luckily I did, for it's the helpful chest room. I've actually noticed over time that you can hit through the single tiled thick walls, and took advantage of it here. Tell me your thoughts on this new dungeon below. Data entry 103. The recent store shortages are no longer considered errors in keeping. Materials and various tools are actually vanishing on a daily basis. A guard program is being created to keep an eye out for intruders. I wonder if that was one of Pete's notes or a Guardian's maybe. This thing is a lot tougher than the mini-bosses up to this point. On to floor 2, and it's kind of cool how doors close with flowing lava in this dungeon. What are those little fireballs that spit out? I didn't get a chance to see what they do since I slayed the creature too fast, if you could even call it that. Data entry 125. According to this month's report, the most valuable items are being left untouched in our warehouses. Only tools and materials used to build our autonomous guard bodies are taken. Okay, now I do think these notes are from Pete, and he was making a robot to protect the supplies he brought in. Man, this lava laser is really hard to dodge. I'll need to get used to the pattern. I skipped back to the start of floor 2 since I still need to find the other lore books. That rolling lava rock thing is hard to catch. We're running out of inventory space now. Oh my. I can now confirm that at the bottom of every dungeon is a giant beast. I would like to spend further time looking into whatever they may be guarding. But something else caught my eye today. I witnessed a new creature near the aforementioned Colossus. It was not concerned with me, so it wasn't a guard. It was a smaller, orange variant of the green monster. The one that occasionally chases me if I spend too much time in the dungeon. Which deserves more attention, honestly. Why is that thing around? But this small orange creature, it wasn't guarding treasure, and was completely oblivious of me. What was it doing down here? Now I'm curious what the orange creature is. I've never seen it myself yet. Those fireballs it spits out are like heat-seeking missiles, and I can't hurt them. I'll try to block or dodge them in the future. Well, we're gonna go back to town. Our inventory is full. Here's the run summary. I went back to the store, restocked shelves, and stored crafting supplies. On my way back to the dungeon, I remembered the campfire and decided to visit at night. Turns out Zenon hangs out here, I'm assuming to help me if I fall in battle again. I've got a long list of things I can ask him about, and some ain't even available yet. We will go through a few and leave the rest for a future video. Let's start with dungeons closed. Ah, something of much contention. If they were not closed, maybe Ryanoke would never have fallen into much despair. It was the deaths of the heroes mainly. Merchants were never foolish enough to venture further than they could manage. But those heroes, they were a bit more headstrong. More apt to dive without potions. Very few of them carried pendants as well. So if they fell, they never came out. Now let's ask about Zenon. Me? Oh, who wants to know anything about this old grouch? I was a merchant, just as you are, just like your grandfather. I ran a more humble shop than your grandfather's Moonlighter, though. He was the ambitious one. I just needed enough for the pub each night. But he wanted more. More for his daughter, more for his grandson. On his passing, I promised to look after you. And that has kept me plenty busy these past couple years. Alright, last one for this episode. Let's do the near lands. The lands outside Ryanoke? I guess you haven't traveled much, boy. To be honest, neither have I. I came to Ryanoke as a young lad, and have not left much since. The lands surrounding us are your standard affair. The crater is the closest landmark. It was formed during a war between the various kingdoms surrounding Ryanoke. After that, both kingdoms ordered a ceasefire. Soon after, Ryanoke was discovered. And there was never a greater distraction to warring states. So we still have the subject's mother, father, Ryanoke, grandfather, Tomo, and 4 more that are currently unknown. But we will split those up in future episodes. Now let's dive. We got that timed chest. Also, I forgot to mention, we don't have enough crafting supplies or gold for any upgrades yet. Further separation between the original dungeon divers has occurred. The divide is clear. The divide is distinct. On one side you have the adrenaline-fueled, glory-seeking danger junkies. This group calls themselves heroes. On the other side you have the merchants. These responsible ones view dungeon diving as a job. Less about the glory, more about finding the most valuable item and getting out of there as quickly as possible. At which point, they set up shop in town with their goodies for sale. One is possibly braver than the other. The other possibly more intelligent. But I'll just let you come to your own conclusion on this one. That was a repeated lore note. I don't think we've faced one of these things yet. Nice. I think we will enter the Wanderer's Dungeon this time. What is this giant tank-like thing? Interesting that we're seeing the previous dungeon's creatures also, and maybe some of the 4th dungeon's creatures as well. The Dimensional Wizard. He wasn't so bad, just a tedious fight to his attack style, teleporting and high health. Well, we made it to floor 3. Let's see how far we can go before we gotta go back. Seems like blocking works well with those fireballs. Well, due to inventory, we're just gonna have to call the dive. Here's the summary. Seems like the cubes that spit out the fireballs are called mother golems, and we just got a quest to slay 10 of them in 3 days. We also got a quest to gather 5 magnetic tools in 4 days. Sadly, we sold some today. If only we would have gotten it sooner. Here's the shop summary. We made over 400,000 gold. Well, in the next episode, we can find out how I plan on spending all that money. If you haven't already, like and subscribe for more Moonlighter and other future content as well. Thanks for watching, and remember, every respawn is an epic quest.